4G Audio Podcast. What is going down? It's 8:15 p.m. on a Friday the 13th. Do you know where your fucking children are?
Yeah.
I know roughly what my kid's up to right now, and you don't want to know. Anyways, I'm Stylez the Prophet.
I'm B Show.
And I'm Jonesy.
Together with the Basement Weirdos, this is the 4G Audio Podcast for the 232nd time. Ooh, 232.
Yes, sir. That's a number.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a number. I don't have a story for that one. So I would like to show you the shirt. Traplo Ross and 6ix9ine. Just so you guys are, in case you guys are wondering.
I remember that shirt now, actually.
Yeah, like I said, I rarely wear it. I also just found this too. I found a bunch of clothes lately that I really like. Except I've also been noticing that my upper body
getting
clothes.
out your winter clothes or what?
Well,
you're
yeah.
putting the summer clothes away?
Yes, but I noticed that my upper body clothes are way bigger than my lower body clothes. So I need to start buying smaller clothes.
Yeah.
I'm going to miss a lot of my sweaters. I keep getting this fucking stray hair in my mouth for the last week, and I think I just need to cut it.
Cut it out of there.
Any motherfucking way. So I'm sure you guys already know what's going on. You see it in the fucking title, and I bet you're just excited as we are for this one.
Yes, sir.
But all the way from Toronto, we got L Dollar in the building. How you doing, man?
Coming out.
Good, brother. Good. Thank you.
Good, man. How was the tour?
Good, brother.
Shit, like I said, I didn't know that you were gonna be making the tour like just for us on today.
Yeah,
like
for
shit,
real.
man. So I really
Sure.
appreciate that, man. That's big.
No problem, fam.
But yeah, man.
You staying in the city tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got something going on here? What?
Yeah, I do. Actually, I have, my mom lives here,
Yeah,
I go
yeah.
back and forth. And,
Because you're originally from here, right?
I'm
where you're-
originally from here, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm always back and forth. And tomorrow I got a studio session with an Ottawa artist, you know what I mean? So that brought me down here as well.
Okay,
Nice.
are you allowed to tell us who or what?
Yeah,
Secret?
it's actually R&B artist, one of the top notch. You know
Okay.
how I do it.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
his name is K Forte. Shout out to K Forte.
Big
Yeah,
shout
yeah.
out.
Oh,
Check
some of
him
this,
out,
or
you
you-
know. Sure.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Look at that.
And we're in the studio session tomorrow, making that R&B for the ladies. You know. What I mean?
Nice, man.
you
I
know.
feel like a lot of your music's like that, like
Yeah, man.
the
Yeah.
ladies. But even too, just real quick too, though. I was saying to someone the other day, I was like, it's kind of all over the place too, right? So
Yeah.
there's like, I don't know what you would call it, but there's like lady music. But then like the next one you're rapping and shit, you know what I mean? And I always say that I like that. I like when artists are versatile because it shows that they actually know music. They're not
Right.
just this one-dimensional thing, you know? So I appreciate that big time, man.
Thank you,
I like
brother.
that.
Appreciate that.
But so like you say, you're back and forth here and there, Toronto,
Yeah.
Ottawa. When did you make the move to Toronto?
Oh man, I made the move about 7 years ago.
Yeah. Was it
you know.
music related?
It was music related. You know what I mean? I kind of felt like I outgrew Ottawa. You know.
Yeah.
What I mean?
Yeah.
There was so much I could do here. You know. I started about 30 years ago in my career.
Yeah.
And I knew that the next step was Toronto, you know, and that was, they opened the doors for me and I took it in. I walked right in.
Yeah, man, that's big too. 30 years in this shit. Like, I even, I was just saying, I think it was Bully I was saying this too, but I'm like, I don't even think I was fucking listening to fucking rap 30 years ago. And then I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, I wasn't, man. I'm like, holy shit,
Wow.
crazy. But so it's crazy to think like that. That's like almost a fucking lifetime for me, man.
My whole
You
lifetime.
know, like, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. And to be doing it hard. I know you've had your fair share of attention over this too.
Yeah.
Did you have anything on MTV at one point?
I did.
Yeah,
I
okay.
actually had on Much Music.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back in the day, I was like 15 years old when my first album came out. And I did the Music Plus. I did the
Yeah.
Much Music Vibe. I did Extended Mix, you know.
Oh shit.
So, you know, all the main shows that were back then, I did them all, bro. And I was 15 years old, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say you said 15. I was like, yo, I heard a rumor once that you were out there hustling CDs, like
Yeah,
young
man.
age, moving,
sure.
going across the city and shit, whatever,
Yep.
going to different cities and shit.
Different cities on the bus with a knapsack full of CDs, cassettes. I would hit all the flea markets. That's how I got my name out there, you know, by myself. You know, I walked
Yeah.
up to the Sam the Record Man in Toronto, HMV, and said, hey, I'm an artist. They put my stuff in the rap section and on consignment. And that's how I started, man.
Oh,
City to
shit,
city by
man.
myself. Yeah.
Back when there was no fucking internet and no
None of
social
that.
media and
No
shit.
social
In the
media.
footwork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even too, you know, like Insane Clown Posse.
Yeah.
So I watched an interview with them and they said the same shit. Like it was back in the day, so they went and they sold their mixtapes, whatever, on the streets, and then they do shows around Detroit and stuff, and then they like basically like overflowed in Detroit, and they were like, okay, well, let's go to the next city, let's go to the next city, the next city, and they did the same thing in each city. Okay, let's just stay here and do this thing, right?
Yeah.
But to me that was such a like a far out concept. Like I'm like, that's fucked up. I'm like, you don't have to do that. But I'm like, oh, these guys are talking about like 92 or something, you know, like where like you had to actually do that, unless you, well, when you're signed, right, they go do that for you, but like to get there you got to do that yourself, you know. But it's crazy to think too, you're doing it as a fucking teenager too, right?
As a teenager, I had no idea what I was doing. I was just like, okay, I got a cassette, I got an album, now let's put it on sale, let's get the word out, let's start doing shows. And I walked in it blind, you know what I mean?
Did you do all this yourself?
All by myself.
Yeah.
Shit,
man. So you're just like solo dolo going out selling this shit?
Selling it.
Shit, man. Crazy.
Yeah.
You weren't one of those guys that would give the CD and they'd be like, hey, you owe me the money.
Well, you know what? Half of the time, you know, if I approached you and you were like, you know, and I knew you wanted it, I'd give it to you. You know what I mean? I'd take a loss, but I'd be like, you know what? You can have it. You know
Yeah.
And I'd leave the house with 50 CDs, and I try to sell 50 CDs a day. You know what I mean? And cassettes, I would take cassettes too. You know, that's how it started, on cassette. Then it moved on to CD. I also was on vinyl as well. You know, and it's pretty hard. You know, the market back then, people wanted to support you. They'd pay the $10 or the $20 that you were asking.
Yeah, it's a different world, I guess. A different time. Like,
yeah,
crazy, man. Yeah, because nowadays, like, fucking, like, me personally, like.
Do you think it's easier? Sorry to interrupt. I'm just like,
man,
I'm just like wondering if it's like easier for, like, it seems like the market is so saturated nowadays with everybody selling their shit. You know, that it's like, again, even fucking 10-year-olds are out here and know how the internet works.
Yeah, it's all digital.
You know, put that shit out there. You know, so, but like, do you think it's like, as hard as it was back then to put in the legwork and like.
I think it's harder to say no face to face than it is.
For sure, like just to not download a stream or whatever,
exactly,
you know, like not
right?
even click on the button, right? But like that's what I'm saying. Like if you get face to face with someone, even if you, like you said, it's like a return on investment, right? Like if you're handing out CDs and you're not even taking money for them, you're just like, here, listen to this, or you know, when you're done with it, pass it to a friend or whatever. You know, like you never know who that's gonna end up.
Yeah.
You know, whose ears are gonna be listening to that, right? I guess it's the same with streaming, but I
think
don't
there's
know,
more
I'm
of
just
an impression left as well.
Yeah, from someone that didn't really like I remember what it was like to have fucking CDs and cassettes and shit, you know what I mean? And do the recording from the radio and you know. But yeah, like to try to sell music back then, like I don't know, you clearly have more
Would you say it's
experience.
harder?
That's what would you think it would be much harder then or today to as like someone starting out, like just trying to like get into their foot in the door?
You know, it was harder then because you know, you had to come up with that initial $3,000-$4,000 to multiply 10,000 cassettes professionally with serial number and everything to be able to scan at the register.
Fair, yeah.
And you know, I took a lot of money invested from my family, from my work,
a lot of sacrifices,
from hustle, you know, and I did what I had to do. But it was harder back then because they would tell you to your face, nah, I'm not into that, you know, and you had to have thick skin, you know what I mean? And you had to be like, okay,
like that
no
built the
problem.
character, right?
It built character, you know what I mean? It wasn't for everybody, you know what I mean? But I tried to approach somebody that, you know, hey man, you want to buy a CD? You want to support your artist, you know? And I was lucky. People were like, yeah, sure, no problem, you know? I was a good salesman, you know what I mean? And that's what got me into sales as well. You know
well, and it sounds like you, at a young age, had a lot of information. Like you're talking about the serial numbers and shit like that, whatever. Like, like I don't even know that shit, whatever, right? Like at a young age, you learned this shit. Where did you learn this stuff? Just
see, I started off. I debuted in 1993 on cassette. The album was called Just the Beginning.
I was a year old.
I was about 15 years old. I recorded it at a studio here in Ottawa called Voice Masters with Brady Binder. Shout out to Brady Binder. And I did my cassette, and then I had it, and then I didn't know what to do with it. And then I hooked up with these other older rappers that were in the city, And just to let you know, I'm one of Ottawa's first rappers.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
one of the first generation.
You're one of Canada's first fucking
Latin rapper.
Yeah,
you know what I
man.
mean?
Yeah.
So back then there was only a small amount of us, you know,
Right.
in Ottawa. So I was trying to follow what the older guys were doing. And shout out to Clarence Gruff, shout out to Ground Control, shout out to Prohibited by Law, shout out to Organized Rhyme, Greg Campbell and them.
Yeah, we
You
actually
know,
had him on the show, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
No, good guy, man. And he was one of the older homies that always showed me positive, gave me good advice. I recorded at his studio when they came out with Check the OR. I was from back then, you know what I mean? And I saw these guys rise.
That gave me chills, bro. That gave me chills. I swear to God, man.
And I was more with the group called Clarence Gruff. Shout out to Kevin Risto and all those guys, you know? And I was following what they were doing. So I saw them put their cassette on display. I followed them. Whatever they were doing, I tried to follow. Nobody showed me what to do, but I did it blindly, and it worked out. It worked out. I got my name out there, you know, couple cities, you know, something that you couldn't do. You know?
Yeah. Well, and you obviously learned from just jumping right in, you know?
Right
so
in.
to get that information too, like, and I mean, some of it seems simple, but like at the same time, like when the things you're saying, I'm like, man, those are all things like I wanted to do like a shoe company and shit, right?
Yeah.
And like, I just plan it. I don't
That's
ever
it,
do anything, right? But if I
See,
just do it, I find out how to do it.
That's saying, right? You got to make mistakes, right? You learn from your
Yeah.
mistakes, right? You know, like nobody goes into anything fucking knowing everything about everything, right?
Yeah.
Like anyone that claims they do is a fucking fraud.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, for sure, you got to just kind of jump in and
learn what works.
You know, figure it out as you go.
So then you're hustling these CDs and shit like that as a teenager, but then what's the next level up?
Well, I was doing shows as well at the same time, and high schools at the time. When I was in high school, I graduated
Just in Ottawa?
96. In Ottawa, Toronto, Montreal.
Okay.
Like, once the schools picked me up, I was setting schools on fire from Toronto, Montreal. I
Not
also
literally.
Rapping French. So, you know,
really?
I did a little bit of
huge.
French, you know what I
That's
mean?
cool.
And a little Spanish, people would go nuts.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those artists that puts on a good live show. I dance and bring that high energy, and people remembered and loved it. And now on Facebook, people start popping up old shows of mine that, you know, they start finding on VHS cassettes and stuff. You know, so,
that's awesome.
you know, it's pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with that. You know
That's
what I mean?
sick. Do you still perform at all, or like?
Well, that's the number one question. Everybody asks me, how come you're not performing anymore? I said, well, because we live in an era that people want you to pay to play. You know what I mean? And I'm one of these artists that you got to pay me to perform at your venue. I understand that it's promotion when a big artist comes down and people want to pay to open up and all that. That's fine and dandy if you want to get your name out. That's a great way to get your name out. But I'm one of those artists that after 30 years in the game, I got to get paid. You know, you want L Dollar live at your show, it's an exclusive. You know what I mean? So you got to pay to play.
True, and at the same time, it's like not like you're like really in the need to get your name
No,
out
not
either.
exactly.
Too.
No, not at
so
all.
it's like
You put
fuck,
in
I
that
could take it or
time.
leave it.
That's right. I'm on cruise control right now.
So okay, I appreciate that though, man. Yeah, makes sense because I mean. Yeah,
it's my brand, you know.
Well, and it
I mean?
also brings value to you too, right? Like,
That's
he's
right.
not doing this, he's not doing this. Oh fuck, well, you know, maybe I'll give him this or whatever, right? And it's like, okay, now I'm getting what I want. Like,
So what's been your main focus? Like working on singles, album, music videos?
Right now, I've been just popping out singles.
Yeah.
If you see my YouTube channel at L Dollar TV, and I've been on fire for the past 9 years. I've probably put out 1, 2, 3 videos a year. Since then, I've been trying to stay consistent, trying to stay out there. We live in the era now that visual is 80% of your artwork now.
Absolutely.
You can have 10% skill, another 10% brand look or whatever, but it's 80% visual. People want to see you. Everybody has a cell phone. Everybody has a tablet. So for me as an artist, I've been trying to focus on visuals, trying to get out singles with hot videos, and you know, eventually the big album's going to drop. You know, but right now it doesn't make sense as an artist for me to just put 14 songs on, you know, CD Baby or TuneCore and release them, or I can just let it ride and go one by one and shoot a video for every single one. You know what I mean?
Well, and you saying that the 80% visual, I can tell because a lot of your shit. I mean, that doesn't speak anything for your music, but your videos are sick. Like I can tell you. you put a lot of work into it. You know what I mean? Like, and thought. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what do you like when you're thinking of that? Like, with that idea of like you want the visual to be good. Like, do you write these videos yourself?
Well, I direct them. I co-direct them. You know?
Okay.
I find the right videographer.
Yeah.
And then if he sees my vision, and I see that he sees my vision, and then we put it together. Like I find the location, I find the models, I get the cars. I tell the guy I want it like this. I want it to make it look like that. And if the videographer is good, he knows what you want. You know what I mean? And shout out to Chase the Dream Films. He's been one of the videographers. That's the guy.
Okay.
Toronto, one of the top Toronto videographers. And I don't even have to tell him. He already knows what I like. You know what I mean? So he'll tell me, do this, do that. And, we co-direct each other. You know what I mean? And the vision comes to life.
Yeah. So it's not it's not like you're just picking the people in the fucking cars or whatever. You screenplay, you do all the fucking
for sure.
Well, but that also and the reason why I asked that is because like it's one thing to be like, I paid the best guy and like I got the coolest cars and like whatever, I made sure I hit all the marks or whatever, right? But to be like, I made the way that it goes, the way that it flows all the way from start to finish, start to finish. That's a totally different thing than I picked all these people and these things,
Yeah.
Again, with how I was saying the versatility with the music, right? Shows that, right? So if you can actually write a screenplay like that or direct it like that, and it comes out like that, then it shows that you understand it. You know what I mean? Right. You're not just doing it. Like I said, I know lots of people who just I got a Lambo, I got a fucking Airbnb mansion, and I got the best dude to film the video. Man, looks great, whatever, right? But there's no substance to it. It's just the car and you and the thing, right?
You see, like, no disrespect to all the other rappers out there that are renting and cars and all that. I was lucky that I had my manager. Shout out to Bubba, Big Bubba, Bassam Al Khoury. His friends own a lot of flashy cars like Lambos and Ferraris and beautiful mansions, and I was lucky that my manager got me all that, and they were cars that were owned by the crew. You know what I mean? We didn't have to go out there and rent a car. You know what I mean? We had to pay the models. Yeah, sure. You know what I mean? But the cars and the houses that you see in my videos, it's all of the family. It's all belongs to us.
Well, and too, I mean, no offense to people renting the shit. It's just that, it's one thing to be like, I got all this. I organized all this, but to be like, I actually made the video flow this way and did this. It's like, I actually like speak the language too,
For sure. I live in the projects. Don't get it twisted. I don't live in a mansion. I don't drive a Lamborghini. I live in Regent Park in Toronto. And I live in Russell Projects here in Ottawa. And, I go from hood to hood, and, I try to keep it real. But my brand is luxury, right? So I got to show off the Escalades and the SL500s and the top-notch models. That's...
so big respect for like, not fronting and shit, right?
Yeah.
But the other thing is I don't know how to ask this question or whatever, but Regent Park, isn't that like pretty bad area?
It's one of the... most notorious neighborhoods in Toronto.
There was like a fucking documentary about it or something.
Yeah, if you Google Regent Park, there's a whole biography on it.
Yeah, actually, Chapler Ross.
Back in the day, it was, a very serious spot. You know what I mean? I couldn't do what I do nowadays, there. Yeah. But I was lucky that I know the right people and everybody got to know me, you know what I mean? And I'm still the Ottawa guy. Everybody calls me, hey, it's the Ottawa guy, you know what I mean? So, but,
Isn't
I'm truly
that
blessed,
where Rob Ford smoked the crack, too?
I believe so.
I believe so. Rob Ford, in that area.
They loved him. They still love him over there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They loved him over there.
Shit. Not to get off topic, just you said Regent Park, my mind's like, like all these things I remember. Shit.
For sure. It's very well respected.
That's great. Yeah. Shit, man. So, it's like real projects.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. So then, and you're talking about recording here tomorrow in the city in Ottawa.
Yeah.
Do you do most of your recording here, or do you have a spot in Toronto you do?
I do it all over the place.
Yeah. Okay.
Most of the time I record in Toronto, different studios in Toronto, but I have a home studio in Toronto called PHS. Shout out to G-Vine and CC and TQ and everybody. It's called PHS Studios in Toronto, but I use everywhere. I can go into any studio and make it magic. You know what I mean? If you're a good artist, you can make it happen anywhere.
Yeah.
That's it. The vibe, man. Like,
that's it.
Yeah, bouncing off each other. Like,
yeah.
It's and I don't really have a whole lot of experience going in the studio with anyone I don't know, but I've sat in Bully's studio back in the day, and I would see like, there's this one dude I just remember, like, anytime I'd see him there, he just quiet as fuck. And then he'd go in this booth and he didn't even have anything written down.
Wow.
And he would just say everything he had to say.
Yeah.
But then like he'd be doing like a song with somebody, and like this dude's like, oh yeah, this, but he's just sitting there like he's not talking, like, and like, so point is like that vibe, I wouldn't feel that.
Wow.
Like he's just sitting thinking about what he's gonna say, right? And
Yeah.
he's not collabing with the guy, he's just this. So I get his vibe, but I don't feel that, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel like that goes a long way, where it's like I feel like you also probably wouldn't step into the studio unless you've felt the vibe already, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I walk in and I get the party started, you know what I mean? Or it depends on the track, you know. If I'm going in there doing a gangster track, you know I'm coming in there heavy, you know what I mean? We're going in strapped.
Yeah.
It's a movie, you know what I mean? But if it's for the ladies, we're coming in with bottles of champagne and caviar, and we're sitting there. We're actually, what we're singing about, we're actually doing it in the studio while we're recording. So,
Okay.
you know, we're trying to keep it real, you know what I mean? It's
Living
possible.
lavish, man. The caviar, eh?
Yeah.
Shit, I think I just tried caviar the other day for the first time.
Beluga?
Well,
Russian?
it was orange. I don't know. It was on the outside of the sushi, and I didn't taste it. But I've seen it, like I've seen it before at parties when I was a kid and shit. But I'm like, fucking, I'm not eating that shit, you know.
Yeah.
But now I'm so interested to try it, right? But anyways, I take this thing. I'm like, what the fuck's on it? And Bully's like, yo, I think that's caviar, man.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, cool, yeah, eat it. I'm like, I don't fucking taste it, whatever. And I was like, yo, I always thought caviar was black, but whenever I was a kid, we went ice fishing, and we had these little like a little net sort of,
Yeah.
but they had like orange balls in it.
them.
And we were fishing with this, right? And my uncle was like, yo, it's caviar. And I'm like, yeah, he's fucking with me, right? Because
Oh,
caviar
for
is
real?
black.
Yeah.
But yeah, but this was orange, right?
Wow.
So anyways, then years later, I find out like, oh, it's actually caviar.
Caviar.
So anyways, yeah, I think the first time I ever tried it was literally just like fucking, I would have been Saturday.
It's
last
delicious.
Saturday, yeah.
Delicious with crackers, you know.
But yeah, and I didn't get the full effect because it was just on the outside of the fucking sushi. So I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, shit. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Actually, speaking of, oh no, that's a lie. That's a complete bullshit lie. I was gonna say, speaking of caviar, there's a song dropping from KG's on the 17th called "Cocaine and Caviar," but
Nice.
everything about that is true except for the cocaine and caviar part. It's actually it's called "Cubans by the Poolside."
Nice.
But I just figured I'd plug that because we were talking about cocaine and caviar, and it wasn't the song I thought it
Sweet.
was, but
Yeah.
here we are, man.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Ah, shit. Okay, man. So now we're at the point where you're bouncing back and forth from Toronto to Ottawa, not performing,
Yeah.
but it doesn't seem like you put out like a whole lot. Is that like you're trying to like in the sense of like keeping your value, you're not gonna oversaturate your shit,
Yeah.
or is it like you just like have these gems that you just don't want to release yet?
It's exactly what you said. I try to hold the value, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I'm going to ask people to pay $1,000 for me to go perform, you got to have value, you know, to your
Yeah.
music. You know, you can't be just some street punk that comes in and ripped jeans and a T-shirt. You know what I mean? So when you hire me to come perform, you know you're getting that quality luxury brand, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're getting the real shit, you know? And I do that on purpose. I don't try not to. I have songs for days. Don't
Yeah.
get it twisted. I got 100 songs lined up, ready to go with different artists, big name artists too, on top of that. But I try to let it go little by little, trying to raise the stock a little bit, try to raise the brand a little bit, and then just give it, you know, because if I oversaturate it, people will be like, yeah, whatever.
Well,
Yeah, I
and
heard
it's
it,
true
you
because
know,
I know
had
a lot
enough.
of artists, like even say like Russ, you know Russ,
Yeah.
like and no disrespect to him, he is, for someone who does fucking everything,
Yeah.
that's insane. He's made it like good for him, and he's super talented, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is like after a while, I'm like, this guy was putting out a song or a video a week or something, right?
It's great.
Yeah.
So every week I hear a song, I'm like, cool, man. They're like, oh, you hear the new? I'm like, I don't really care anymore.
Yeah.
Because I heard it every time, right? And
Mhm.
it's not to say that he's all the same, but it's just like a lot of it is similar, right? And
Yeah.
it's like, okay, cool. I still want to listen to last week's song again, you know, like.
Yeah, for sure.
So it makes sense, right? Because then it kind of turns people off too, and I feel like someone in your position, like being that OG too, right? The same as how it's like, oh, I could take it or leave it to perform, right?
Yeah.
It's the same. I feel like the same thing, right? You're like, I don't have to put out music, but here's one
Yeah,
for you, you
for
know, like
sure,
here's the
for
good
sure.
shit, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I always try to come back to Ottawa to help Ottawa artists. Even though I left the city, I'm always one of these artists that comes back and scouts new talent and drops a verse for free here and there for, you know, local artists and stuff. And I never forget where I began, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? And I had good homies, older homies that jumped on my stuff and showed me respect and you know, all about loyalty. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm trying to show the younger generation. Be like, yo, I'm not too good. You can holler at me and be like, yo, drop a 16. If I like your shit, why not? You know what I mean?
Pay it forward type
Pay
shit.
it forward. You know what I mean? We got to make Ottawa rise one way or the other. You know
That's
what I mean?
big respect too, man. Like, cause like, it's, and I bet you there's people in Ottawa that are like, oh, I look up to this guy, like, oh, whatever, right? And I mean, there's artists in the city that are like, that have gone and gotten big. They're in California and shit, and they're doing all this shit, right? But like, there's a couple that don't. I know people that are like, oh, it's my favorite artist. I'm like, oh yeah, he's from Ottawa. It's crazy. They're like, I didn't know that.
Wow.
And I'm like, man, what the fuck, right? So the thing is like people look up to him like, oh yeah, this guy. Oh, but he doesn't like talk about Ottawa, doesn't claim Ottawa, like whatever, right? Doesn't, you know?
Yeah.
So then like there's probably people looking up to you, right? And then you do pass out that fucking 116 or you do this one thing, you fucking just show up in a video or something, right?
Yeah.
That's big to them, right? So, and something so little to you could be so big to everyone else.
Right.
And maybe even too helps them shoot off to the top too, you know? So I
For
appreciate
sure.
that. That's like the thing we talk about on the show too, is like our lawyer buddy told us everybody's trying to build the biggest building, right?
Yeah.
And you don't want to like tear other people's buildings down to make yours look bigger.
Yeah.
You want to help them build their building too.
Yeah.
But just make sure yours is bigger than theirs.
That's right.
You know, like, so you can still help people fucking get there, but it's just like make sure you get there too.
You see, the secret to my success is that the longevity. The reason why I'm still here is because I'm taking my time building it brick by brick. You have to have a strong foundation. You can build this building you want, shiniest one you want, but you know, it'll be gone by a couple years. You know, you'll be forgotten.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You were hot. You were, you know. I'm trying to stay here forever. You know what I mean? I have 3 generations of fans. You know, now children, our age, the older age, even the elders, you know, love my music. And it's like, you know, I'm truly blessed on that. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to continue that tradition. You know, trying to keep going for everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Strong foundation wins the race, you know?
Speaking of longevity, I heard another rumor that maybe there's some people making a documentary about you, or there's a project about your life.
Actually, like I said, 30 years.
Yeah,
so
man.
we're collecting all the footage right now out of VHS. We're trying to transfer everything onto digital.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of work.
Part, right?
Yeah, that's a lot
and
of
every
work.
time I think I'm done, somebody else hits me up with more footage.
I got
more,
this.
yeah.
And I was like, okay, so we're trying to get all together. Me and a couple other companies are trying to get it together and trying to tell my story, because, you know, you might know me from my friends and stuff and that we have in common, but you don't know my story from the beginning, how many people I started, how many famous rappers that are in LA that I started, millionaires, you know, that don't even remember my name anymore, you know what I mean? But I'm the one that gave you shirt off back, you know what I mean? So
Shit, really?
I'm telling you, I got a story to tell, and I rubbed shoulders with the famous, but it's
That's
because
the place to tell it, man. Shit.
but it's because, you know, when you're young and you don't know anything, you know, you just watch and observe, you know what I mean, and wait your turn, you know.
Yeah.
That's
But
it.
at the same time too, man, I feel like the elders or like famous people and shit, like I feel like they appreciate that more, man.
Yeah.
Like if you were to sit, like you're saying, rubbing shoulders with these people, if you were to be like, yo, hey, oh, how do I do this? They're like, oh, yeah, whatever. They're like, man, I don't like that fucking dude, right?
Yeah.
But to just like chill, whatever, then maybe they come and approach you and be like, yo, what do you want to know? You know, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
You know, let's take an example. I met Snoop Dogg, you know, and everybody was, you know, starstruck, you know what I mean? And I was the one in the corner quietly rolling a blunt, you know, and then when it was my turn, when he spoke to me, I was like, what up, God? How you doing? You know, introduce myself. Hand him the blunt.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I didn't treat him like, you know, I was starstruck. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was starstruck.
Yeah.
But I wasn't showing it. You know what I mean? I played it cool, played my cards right.
Yeah.
And we spent the night, you know, at Sugar Daddy's. He was DJing at Sugar Daddy's in Mississauga, I think it is.
Yeah.
And you know, friends of friends. We got pictures and everything. You know what I mean? And I got to introduce my music. You know what I mean? And we kept it cool. We kept it moving. You know. Same thing with Noriega from Component Noriega and Drink Champs. We got to meet him. You know, and you got to know how to move around these guys, you know, because like you said, they're tired of taking pictures and, hey, man, can you help me out? You know what I mean? Every rapper wants to give you a demo.
Yeah.
Just treat them like a real human
Can I rap for you? Yeah.
I treat them like, you know, as if we're equals and shit. And if it works out, it works out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's all in you, how you sell it.
It's true, though. Even, too, like, I'll be like, oh, yeah, I met this dude or whatever. People like, oh yeah, like, do you have a picture? I'm like, no, I didn't take a picture. Why didn't you take a picture? I'm like, we were just hanging out.
Yeah.
We were
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
it wasn't like even like a meet and greet thing, you know, like it's expected to take a picture, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But like we were just hanging out. Like I just met this guy and like hung out. I'm like, I'm not gonna be like, hey, one sec, like great conversation, but could we okay, thanks. Keep going about that, you know, like it's weird, right? But I think they appreciate that more because, like you said, they're sick of it. Like, and then on top of it, like every person that comes up to them is that person, right? So if you're just like a fucking, you being a normal person is a break to them, like
For sure.
yeah.
For sure.
But anyways, but on the sorry, we're bouncing around, but on the topic of the documentary thing, one thing I have to say is 30 years, right? 30 years is 75% of 40 years. And apparently hip hop has been in Ottawa for 40 years. It is also 3/5 of the entire life of hip hop so far. I just wanted to get that across.
Did you do all
real
this
quick.
math while we were
But-
having this conversation?
Oh, I already did the math a long time ago. I just waited my turn to say something. No, but so I just want to get that point across. It's a fucking long time. But what kind of feeling is that where it's like not only like have you been you've done something long enough and made an impact long enough and made a big enough impact that people now want to hear your story to like put it out as like as a documentary or whatever, right? Like what does that feel like, you know?
It feels great, bro, because I think I've been overlooked.
Yeah.
I think I've been, pushed aside, I guess. You know.
I see that just in the last few years since I've
know.
known who you are, you know what I mean?
And I gotta remind people who was here first. You know what I mean? Who was rocking the crowds, who set the blueprint for everybody else to start performing now. You know what I mean? Back then I was performing with fiddlers at Super X. I was the only rapper. I was, performing with tap dancers and country singers and rock bands. I was the only rapper. So imagine how I felt, or being the only white guy in an all-black party, big reggae party, and be the only white guy there performing, and I took that chance, and thanks God, it worked out, what I mean? So, I got a story to tell, a beautiful story. I can't wait till the world sees it. But it's because I was overlooked, Every time people bring out a list in Ottawa top rappers, and
but
that,
I hated that shit.
I get it, but we have medias like hiphopcanada.com. Shout out to Hip Hop Canada. Shout out to capcity.com. They show me love all the time. You know what I mean? I get love from those two guys. They actually been there from the beginning of my career almost. You know what I mean? But there's other new casts that have come in. New podcasts and new ventures, new businesses that don't even know who I am.
Yeah.
So I gotta be here to remind them.
It's even too like I guess younger people as well, right? But like even myself, like so I'm actually like technically not from Ottawa.
Okay.
I'm from Renfrew, like hour away or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, so the thing is like still to this day, like, so like I only would have heard of you in the last fucking maybe 6 years or something, right?
Wow.
And then like even say like Jugga and shit, right?
Yeah.
So the Boogaloo tribe, like I didn't know, you know what I mean? So then like I'm being filled in about all this shit, right? So I don't know this shit. So I'm only saying this to admit that even like myself, like I'm blind to certain shit. And then I find an artist like, oh yeah, this guy or whatever, right? And then like somebody be like, yo, that guy's been around for a while, right? Like, and he's had this and he's had that. And I'm like, oh shit, I didn't know, but like I haven't been around, you know, in the city and shit, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know a lot of that shit. So I only say that to say like, I'm sure there's other people in the same situation where they're like younger or maybe like weren't on the scene or like whatever, right? But speaking of all that though, on people telling me stuff about the history of Ottawa hip hop, what do you know about Krigger Knackers? Krigger Knackers? No, it was I guess Jugga and a few people, and it's coming to me, Jay Morris. And
was it Zoom Elastics?
it was like they had it was like DVDs or something or videos that they put out, but they would go and like
different hoods. I
different
think it
hoods
was.
and
Yeah,
shit.
no,
Yeah,
I wasn't around for that one. No.
Okay, yeah.
But shout out to Jugga, Pat McCormick. We did a song together. It's actually on vinyl. Thanks to shout out to Pat McCormick, Jugga and the Boogaloo Tribe. We have a record together called Panty Dropper.
Nice.
Panty Dropper. It was one for the ladies back in the days, you know, and it's still around. It's still circulating a few copies, you know what I mean? But shout out to Boogaloo Tribe for that one.
Yeah, big shout out. Actually, you know what? So I also bring it up because it's like fresh. Like I just learned about it a couple months ago, whatever. Actually, Bully Zone showed me that. We can't find it. You can't find it anywhere, right? So then I hit up. I was like, you know what? I think I know how I can find this out. So I hit up Jug. I'm like, yo, can we have these fucking videos? Like, yeah. He's like, I'll find the DVDs. I'll give them to you. Yeah. So then I hit him up. I'm like, yo, you find them? Whatever. He's like, no. So then I say, yo, I'm like, how about we do a podcast? I'm like, give us the videos. We'll watch them and then we'll talk about it. Whatever, right? So actually, we had him booked 4 weeks ago, I think it was. Either way, it was sometime in September or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And we didn't end up getting the videos in time. So I was like, yo, you want to come anyways for Cranium Fest, whatever? And he was like, no, man, I want to get you guys the videos first. So I'm like, but the thing is, I've been sitting here for a couple months, like,
yeah,
I haven't even seen a clip from it, or I don't even know what it's about. Like, you know, like I don't even really know. And like, I saw him at a thing in Vanier one day, and we were talking for a bit. I'm like, yo, I got to get those videos, whatever. And he just went off and told me like a bunch of stories about it and shit. But I guess they were going across Canada and shit too, right?
That's right.
But no, I just thought maybe being in the scene for that long, you were around for that.
I was out of town. Yeah, I was out of town when they were circling doing that stuff. You know what I mean? I was trying to get my foot into Toronto. You know, like I used to jump on the Greyhound at 16 and just try to.
But that's why
with everybody.
But that's why you got what you did, you are where you are type thing, right? I would say, instead of going, you know what I mean? Because, like, you were there working, doing that thing, you know, instead of doing other shit. Like, even there's a artist, I think it's G-Eazy, maybe. Excuse me. He was going to school to be a doctor. And he
Chris
quit.
Rebby, maybe?
He quit to rap. And they asked him in an interview, like, they were like, yo, like, you quit school to rap, this and that, whatever. And, like, if you're in school, you're doing all this shit, and, like, a doctor, you probably have, like, a lot of homework and, like, all this studying, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So how did you have time to rap and stuff, right? He's like, man, I'm fucking, on the weekends, everyone's going to party and stuff. He's like, I didn't do that. He's like, I would sit at my house by myself or with the engineer or whatever, and he's like, I would just sit there and make music, you know? And that's how he was able to get ahead, right? So even like you said, like, I wasn't around for that. It's like, wow, you were doing the shit that got you where you needed to be or whatever, right? Or the shit that you would rather be doing, you know? So it's not like you missed out. It's like you were just doing bigger, better shit.
I was trying, man. I was trying, you know?
No.
Building.
Yeah. I appreciate that, man. Shit. Okay. So here's the thing is.
What's the thing?
I guess there's still a lot of things left. But I was going to say, I actually asked one of our mutual friends yesterday. I was like, do you think he'd rap for us?
Yeah.
And he was like, bro, this guy has so many writtens in his head. He's like, he would probably love to rap for you guys. And I was like, oh,
nice.
Shit, man. So I don't know if we put on a beat or something. You want to freestyle?
Yeah.
Or if you have a suggestion for a beat or something.
Boom bap, something boom bap.
Okay. That's what I like to hear.
I'll see what I got.
Tuck it up,
like
Joey. Yes, sir.
I'm glad he chose boom bap too, because I that's where I came from, I guess, technically. But
yeah, I'm just gonna open it. Just
No,
go ahead,
do it.
keep
Yeah,
going.
yeah.
I'm
I
just
was
gonna
just
play
gonna
some
say-
shit and see what happens.
But at the
Yeah.
same time, too, I'll bring it up after, anyways. It's a question I want to ask you, and it has to do with boom bap, kind of. It's a poor segue, man. It was a poor segue.
Okay, so you're gonna need those headphones to hear the beat.
truth.
These phones,
Yeah.
okay?
Forgot about that.
And that's your mic right there.
Oh, yeah, el dólar. Yeah. Yeah. You in a line of fire, too close to the heat. My Glock and squeeze chain gon' make you cool, bitch. You in a line of fire, too close to the heat. Let it be known on the street, we gon' murder my enemy. You in a line of fire, too close to the heat. My double barrel metal gon' put you all to sleep. Liar, liar, your number's up for retire. Call try playing with fire. I'm fucking tired. A bomb ticking with extra wires. Gonna bury you motherfuckers. Can you hear the funeral choir? My desire is to acquire your life. Crack you in pipe, cut you up, take a slice. The time is right. Tonight's the night. You gon' see the light, right? We're bringing lead to the fight. We move in silence. We bring violence. We stay defiant. Cause everything we drop becomes timeless. Time is ticking, your gun's sticking, your blood's spilling. Got my whole crew begging me to make a killing. I got blocks and crews and real killers and soldiers. You fake ass composers, you're over. Dollar! Yeah! Regent Park, Russell Projects.
Oh man. Damn. Shit, that's it's up there, man. It's up there, man. That's,
Thank you, brother.
oh man,
Thank
you got crazy energy too, man.
Thank you,
Shit.
brother.
Sir.
It's like even too like you just switch there all of a sudden.
And I like how he just did the first
Turned it
beat
on.
too. Usually, like people
Yeah.
are like, "Oh no, next beat, next
Yeah,
beat, next
right,
beat."
right.
I can
Yeah.
go on,
Yeah.
bro. I
Do.
can go on and on, bro. You know.
Hell yeah.
On and on. Is that an invite?
And on and on.
Is that an
On
invite?
and
No.
on.
Let's go. That's sick, man. That's crazy. But the question though, yeah. So I was gonna ask you about what, like how hip hop is progressing or digressing, or I don't know what's happening with it, but so it went from shit like this, it went from this boom bap or even like the of the Western shit, you know, from all that back in the day, or even go further back where it came from, where it was just all that they're going back and forth with the turntables and shit and whatever, right? With the samples and whatever,
Get
right?
down.
Like you go from like that type of shit to like where we're at now, where like Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, you know what I mean? And to be honest, you can just see that like the projections of rap, and I wouldn't even call that shit rap, but they are calling it rap, right? But what do you think about that? Like how it's going from where it was to like where now it's there's so many like subgenres and shit, you know? Like, do you think there's any saving rap, I guess?
You know, I think the older G's are trying to bring boom bap back. They're trying to bring the 90s era back right now to hip-hop. Hip-hop took a left turn. You know, we're trying to follow the UK drill, the Chicago drill. You know, that's consumed the scene a lot. You know what I mean? And
it's huge.
guys like me had to come up with a couple drill songs just to, you know, let them know that, you know, we can still do it. I have a drill song called Loco coming out from a producer in the UK.
Nice.
Oh, sick.
And, you know, and it's like I said, you know, it's different, you know, but I think the OGs are trying to bring it back. You know, eventually it'll turn 360, hopefully, you know what I mean? And it'll come back to the love music, you know what I mean? And that era, you know. Because you can see it, we're going from skinny jeans again back to the baggy pants.
History repeats
So
itself.
it's about to happen again.
True, and I
know?
find like he says, history repeats itself, but I find like it's speeding up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was like now like kids are wearing shit from like the 90s and shit, you know what I mean? Like they got those like little choker tattoo fucking thing.
Yeah.
And they got the pants, man, the
Yeah,
pants.
the
I'm like,
pants,
holy shit. But I find it's like it almost is faster, you know. So I feel like if it is gonna turn around, it might turn around a little bit faster.
Yeah.
But the other thing is like just how you were saying you have a drill song and shit, right? That's that versatility thing. Like I can do music. I know music. I don't just know how to fucking rap or do this one thing. But some example that came to my mind was like Juice WRLD.
Yeah.
Someone like him, like when I see him freestyle, I'm like, what the fuck? Like this guy knows what's up, you know?
Yeah.
So when I see that, I'm like, okay, this guy like knows where this shit came from and can, you know what I mean, do that type of shit too. He's not just this one dimensional, he sings some shit, whatever, and thinks he's a fucking rapper. This guy is a fucking musician, you know what I mean? So that's just another example of that same type of shit where it's like, oh, you can actually like do all this shit. So like you said, you're like, I just fucking, I'm gonna do a drill song, you know, like because I can do that, you know.
Well, you see, my particular style is called Spanglish. I drop it in Spanish and English. I mix it up,
Right.
and then I try to stay relevant with today's beats. You know, when you got that trap, 808 going on, well, you know, we're gonna hit the 808 in Spanglish. You know what I mean? And if you see my catalog, I go from R&B to Latin to reggaeton to, you know, I can do it all, you know, and a real artist will be able to adapt and, you know, and put his little spin, his little twist on whatever, you know, comes out his way, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
A real artist will do that.
Well, and like I said, I definitely see that with you, because
Thank you.
like I said, going through your catalog and shit, I'm like, yo, like, it just like wide range and nail, like, you know what I mean, nailed it. It's not like, oh, I fucking kind of do some other shit too. It's like, no, like, I can do all this shit, you know. And again, like I said, to be able to do that, it's like, I respect that, because it's like I said, you're a fucking artist, right? You're not just like a fucking rapper. I can rhyme some shit.
But you see, I also did that on purpose. Like, I'll be real with you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to, like, my advice to all the artists that are locally, try to make music worldwide. Because today you might be in Ottawa, tomorrow you might be in Cancun, the next day you might be in Rome, then you might be in England. So you might have songs for everybody. And I'm trying to go global. So maybe the song here in Ottawa didn't pop off the reggaeton one, but Light It Up is probably hot in Mexico and all Latin America right now in all the nightclubs.
Afro beats are on a real wave right now.
It's because of that, you know, beat in that certain era, you know, in that certain region. That's what you want, you know. That's why I did the UK drill, the local song, so I can send it back to England and let them know.
Yeah,
that,
well, it makes sense too, because it draws people in for other shit, right?
Right,
So,
exactly.
That's right.
Even too, like with the show too, right? Like, we kind of originally, like, I don't know if I'd say this, but like kind of pigeonholed ourselves to like hip hop, you know?
Okay.
But then, like, we were talking about having different other people on, like skateboarders and this and comedians and whatever. I was like, yo, you know what? I'm like, it actually would open it up so that, like, maybe they come here for the comedian interview, but then they're like, yo, they had L Dollar on, like, holy shit, let's check that out too, you know? Sure. Now they're following us, you know, but same shit, right? It's like, oh, I came here for the reggaeton, but I love the fucking, you know, whatever else, right? For sure. So it makes sense too, but it's also, the other thing too is you probably would get bored, right? Like, staying one dimensional.
Yeah,
like,
for sure. Well, you know,
and you also have different feelings too.
At the beginning of my career, you know, when you're young, 15 years old, you come in from the neighborhood, from the projects, and you got about 50 dudes around you. It's all gangster songs.
Yeah.
It's all about guns and drugs and bitches and shit, you know what I mean?
Being the hardest.
Eventually you grow up and you be like, fuck, you know what I mean? I can't bring that song to the radio. You know how many times I went to like Energy 1200 with a gangster rap song and they laughed at me and turned me away?
Yeah.
You know, or Hot 89.9, they were like, no, we can't play that. You know what I mean? And
it's too hot.
I was bringing the hard stuff, you know what I mean? And I was like, well, what do I do? Then I was dating this chick, and she's like, you know what? I don't like your music. And I said, why, babe? You know, she was, I don't like your music because me and my girls can't listen to it. We can't get dressed to go to the club. We can't ride to the club with your music. Yeah. So, you know, when I broke up with her, I showed her, you know what I mean? Now I have, you know, about 100 love songs, you know what I mean? That all the girls bang to, you know?
That went the opposite way I thought you were going to. I thought you were going to be like, so I started making music like that for her. Like,
you know what I mean?
Showed her, man.
Showed her, you know?
That's sick, though.
Up.
Yeah, man.
Shit, man.
So what about the social media aspect of the new game? Are you into reels and shorts that much?
You know, I'm trying, you know what I mean? I'm trying to get up with it. You know, I'm an OG, bro. You know, it took me so long to, you know, even get Facebook and then Instagram. And then, you know, my lifestyle is not, I don't want to portray violence. I don't want to, like, glorify gang stuff. I don't want to, you know, but the thing is, I live that lifestyle. And you have to be careful what you put out. You have to be careful what you say. You know, and you know, my audience is from little kids all the way to seniors. You know what I mean? Everybody knows what I'm about. I don't have to tell them. You know what I mean? You already know. You know what I mean? And it's just that you have to watch it. You know, if you're in the lifestyle, if you're really dirty, you gotta be careful when you're in the clean spots. You know what I mean? You gotta know how to move. How to present yourself. You know what I mean?
When people are looking, type shit.
Who are looking? You know what I mean? We live in that era that everybody's watching.
That's it.
You don't think everybody's watching?
Oh my god, it's insane, man. Like, and especially now, like, I mean, when I think about it, I think like, man, 20 fucking years ago, I remember learning. Holy shit. Everybody's watching.
Everybody's watching.
The car you think is empty isn't empty. Everybody is looking at you, you know? But then, like, now, like, so that's, like I said, like 19, 20 years ago. Now, fucking everybody's got a Ring camera. Everybody's got a fucking like I said, security, like whatever, right? And on top of it too, like, so that's if no one's around. Okay, the Ring camera got it right. But if you do this like downtown or some shit, like everybody has their phone out, like whatever, right? So like you see, you can't fucking. You're always in the eye.
It was different era. Growing up, there was no security cameras. Nobody had a cell phone on them with a camera. You know, we do dirt and nobody knew about it unless it was passed around by word. Now you yell at somebody and you have about 50 phones come out.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you threaten somebody, there's 100 phones looking at you right now, and you hit the scene. You know what I mean?
It's like you don't even have to do anything. They're already like, it's about to happen.
Yep.
So yeah, it's true though. And so like I said, even fucking before all that shit, I was like, shit, really, everybody's watching. And it's like, no, now like everyone's, if they're not watching, something's watching for them. Like shit. Yeah. So yeah, it's true, man.
But social media game is it changed everything. OGs like me now are learning it, are trying to use it to our benefit. You know what I mean? Trying to connect with our fans. Yeah. You know, I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
This era is nice. You know what I mean?
It's probably a little easier than fucking taking the train to Toronto and shit.
Yeah, sure.
You do it from your couch, you know.
All from the couch, you know what I mean? Yeah.
So yeah, no. The other thing too is what's the like someone that like you that's been around for fucking almost the whole entirety of hip hop in Ottawa, like what's the good, bad, whatever, like what do you notice the biggest difference in then to now, or like how it's changed?
Like you said, now there's so many rappers here in Ottawa.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, back then there was 10, 12 of us. Put it that way. When I first started, it was a handful of us.
Yeah.
Networking, working. Now you have about 100, 200 rappers, everybody trying to saturate, trying to build it. My advice to everybody is like, you know, be yourself. Don't follow the next man. Find your own little lane, you know what I mean? Be yourself, you know. Be yourself and somebody will like it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And try to be versatile, you know what I mean? Don't be stuck in the same old shit, you know. Don't try to follow other big name rappers, you know, trying to do copy, emulate them, you know what I mean? Because it's not going to work for you. It works for them, not for you.
Yeah.
But yo, like at the same time though, like, and I guess when I say this, I'm not condoning it at all. But there is an artist, Lil Man J. Is his name?
Yeah.
And like Lil White Kid.
Yeah, he sounds like
Lil Baby or whatever, right? Yeah. So that was his thing. Was he would just sit there and be like, it'd be like a reel or whatever, and he'd be like, "Hey, you want to make a song like Lil Baby? Okay." And he'd like do make a little bit of the beat, and then he'd be like, "Okay," and he'd just say some shit like this, and he'd say some shit, put it together, and be like, "There, I sound like Lil Baby." And then boom, he blows up, and now he's like doing shows and shit like that on this fucking basis that he sounds like Lil Baby, and it's like
he was being himself. You know what I mean?
True.
That's
yeah.
it.
True.
You know
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
mean?
But at the same time, even too, when I do bring up that like that point, at the same time, that only worked for that fucking guy, right? Like it's not gonna work for everybody. And also too, like I said, I don't really condone like copying people either, right? But at the same time, on that, like I would do the same shit, right? Like I have a couple, you know what I mean? Like I try to record some shit, but I want to try and like sound like this, or like whatever, right? But I found like it was forced and it didn't sound right? But then whenever I actually was like, okay, like just say the same lyrics but how I want to say them, like and like relax and say it, and it's like, oh, be yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, so then it actually comes out your fucking way, you know?
Yeah.
You give me this?
Yeah. No, I tell like, you know, all the upcoming rappers, Ottawa has talent. We have talent.
For sure.
You know, we can't deny it, you know, and I'm the first one to say Ottawa has talent. We just have to, you know, help each other out and get off the stock, you know what I mean, that everybody's doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's originate. Let's make something that's
to make
Ottawa, you know what I mean?
Ottawa
Toronto,
sound.
you go to Toronto and you have a Toronto sound.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's that Toronto sound that everybody's doing and copying. Everybody's like Pressa, you know what I mean? And everybody's trying to sound like Pressa, you know what I mean? But, you know, it works for certain people, not for everybody. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, true. And even too, we've said it before. Well, I shouldn't say we've said it before. Someone said it on here before that, like, Ottawa doesn't really have a sound, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, I, like, personally want to argue with that because, like, yes, but at the same time, that sound is, I find our sound, like, if we had a sound, it's really just New York.
It is, because growing up when I was 15, my older homies would travel back and forth from New York to Ottawa.
True.
So when they would bring the super fat goose jackets and the troop suits,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, from back then,
Yes,
you know,
yes.
they would bring that merchandise to us, and we were the only ones with troop suits in Ottawa, you know what I mean, and furry stuff, you know, and Kangol, furry Kangos back then, you know what I mean, and you know, and we were sporting, we were following New York. Whatever New York did, it
Yeah.
trickled down to us, because it would trickle down to Toronto, and then from Toronto it would trickle down to Ottawa. So yeah, you know, we're East Coast, you know, for sure, and yes. We emulated the New York rappers, the New York scene back then, and it worked for us, you know.
100%. It's funny too because it almost still to this day, I feel like I can see where the West or the East and the West in Canada, it's different still, but still the same as the East and the West in the States.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's
Definitely.
like, if I give you 10 examples of fucking each, like New York, California, and then Vancouver, fucking Ontario, you might be like, yo, they're not really the like same, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I hear the same sounds. Like there's those like long drawn out high pitched sounds out west, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I hear it the same, you know? So I feel like I'm assuming, like you're saying, like people going down to New York.
Yeah.
Back over there, it's probably same shit. People dipping down into California or whatever,
California,
right?
right,
Doing the
definitely,
same
yeah.
type of work, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Picking up that sound. Couple more.
Yeah, man.
Shit, man, what you guys saying? What time is it?
I don't
It's
know.
after 9.
Going for an hour.
Okay. So we have the lightning round, but or whatever we have left of the lightning round.
Yeah, we can do it.
Absolutely. So we'll do the lightning round and shit, but I just want to ask you if you have anything to tell the people, man. You want to give them some advice? You want to tell them where to find you? You want to give them a finger? Whatever you want, man.
Yeah.
You can find me on Instagram, I'm LDollar613. You can find me on YouTube, LDollarTV. I just released my new single called On the Low, produced by a Cuban producer, Cachorro Production. Shout out to Cachorro. I have many songs coming out. The next single is called Red Bandana, produced by PHS Entertainment, featuring Young Noble of the Outlaw Crew.
Say
of
word.
Tupac's crew.
Yo, I sat
You know
at
what I
breakfast with Young Noble, bro.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Wow.
man. Yes.
Sick,
Yeah. Actually,
sick
shout out to
dude.
Specs because Specs not only hooked me up with a hotel room that night, so I didn't have to drive home, but he woke me up so I could go have breakfast with Young
Shout
Noble.
out to Aspects,
Yo,
man.
man,
Respect
yeah,
to
huge,
Aspects.
man.
No,
But yeah,
they're
sorry,
talented.
man.
Yeah, for sure. And it's called Red Bandana, and it's coming out. You know what I mean? And we're trying to do that little West Coast flavor. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So for that, you know,
I like
something
that.
different, you know?
You ever heard? This is back a little bit, but Joel Santana,
Yeah.
Red Bandana,
Red
Like,
Bandana, yeah,
the
for
Red
sure, for sure.
Bandana.
Yeah.
Sick, man. So as soon as you said that, that's what I think.
I'm kind of
boom,
following
man.
that steps right there.
Yeah, sick.
man,
Okay, cool,
for
man.
sure.
Yo, so that's the next one up.
That's the next one up.
When's
you
this
know.
local one coming?
You know, the local one, we'll probably do it in fall.
Okay.
It's done. I just have a feature. Hopefully
Yeah.
the artist jumps on it, you know what I mean? And
So I
blesses
need
me
to
with the
get that
verse.
Yeah.
L Dollar drill fucking song, man.
It's
God
sick,
damn
bro.
it.
It's sick. I hit it in
Yeah?
Spanish and English, and it's
Ah,
fly, bro.
of
It's
course
fly,
you do.
bro.
Yeah.
You know
Shit.
what I mean?
Damn. Okay, man.
Hell yeah.
So we got a couple questions. Every question's worth double the points,
Okay.
and you gotta answer them fast. No,
All right.
there's no rules, man. But they're just quick little questions, man.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Pizza or tacos?
Tacos,
Powerade or Gatorade?
Gatorade,
Gin or vodka?
vodka,
Boobs or booty?
booty,
Booty. Would rather be stuck deep sea or outer space?
deep sea.
Deep sea.
Why? Wait.
Fuck, I can swim, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, out of space, we got no control, right?
Yo, actually, one thing I have to say, okay? And I know that it's the lightning round,
Mhm.
and I tell you have to answer fast. But I make this a long process.
It's all good, man.
But in space,
Yeah.
they say that, like, so you're floating, you're weightless, right? They say that, like, you know, if you go like this, you won't go anywhere. Like, if you try and swim in space, you won't go anywhere, right? But, like, if you were to take, like, if you had something heavy and you took it and you tried to throw it in space, you would, like, move back.
Wow.
Yeah. So the
Wow.
only way
Because
you
everything
can
has
actually,
an equal and opposite
Right.
reaction, right? So
Yeah.
as soon as you throw something with
Right.
force, you will move back
it
the
goes.
equal.
Yeah, it's.
But if you're trying to just swim or like move, there's no atmosphere to move against.
Yeah,
so you're
exactly.
Just be moving around.
That blows my mind. But whenever you're like, I know how to swim, I'm like, and I'm like, I don't know how to space. You know, like, shit, like, and you can't space. But anyway, sorry. As you were, gentlemen.
Yeah. Would you rather lose your wallet or your cell phone?
Fucking wallet.
Yeah.
Cell phone's in my office.
Yes,
You know?
sir. Would you rather have $2 million or followers?
2 million followers.
2 million followers.
Yeah, okay.
2 million followers.
Yeah.
I'll make the dollars after.
Yeah,
You know?
true that.
That's what
true
I always
that.
said. I'm like, yo, you make
Yeah.
the money off the followers,
Yeah,
you
that's
know.
right. That's
But
right.
at the same time, so many people have said money, and like they're like, you know.
We live in an era that everything's expensive. 2
Well,
million will go
and then
quick.
like, well, yeah,
Yeah.
they're like I got mine on my money or whatever, right? Or money on my mind, and I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, exactly. I want the fucking money, right? But like you said, I got 2 million followers. Like, I make the fucking money.
You're
I'm
making
only
money.
saying this to be like, every time someone says this, I'm like, just so you guys know, I'm fucking right. See, he agrees with me.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right.
If you were to eat free from any restaurant for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Shit, McDonald's.
Yeah.
I think I'm a big
Are
you
Mickey D's
serious?
fan. Oh yeah, man.
What's
you
your
know,
favorite shit from McDonald's?
Fucking nuggets, man. You
Yeah?
know, I'm hooked on the nuggets. You know,
What sauce?
sweet and sour.
Yes,
That's
sir.
it.
Yeah,
The only one.
the only way.
Yo,
I
did
fucking
you try
just
the
had
Big
fish and
Mac, the
fries.
nugget Big Mac?
No,
thing?
I didn't. I
No,
gotta
no,
try
I
it.
didn't either.
Yeah,
I don't,
yeah.
because the thing is I don't like most of the stuff on a Big Mac.
Yeah.
So it would end up just being like lettuce and cheese. So it's just like I like it's not gonna change anything for me, you know. But
Yeah.
whenever I was a kid, I used to work there, or not a kid, but a teenager, I used to work there, and I made that shit. I just put the nuggets on the thing and ate it like that.
Wow.
Yeah. So then now they come out with it. They actually have a patty like it and shit. I'm like, yo, oh my god,
See?
they were watching
Yeah,
me, man. They were watching.
They're watching.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
Everybody's watching.
Shit. Would you rather fall asleep for a whole year or go about your day naked?
Shit, fall asleep for a whole year.
Yeah.
Tired.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
catch
yeah,
that
okay,
nap.
yeah.
You know.
Shit.
Yeah.
Would you rather have an elephant trunk or a giraffe neck?
Elephant trunk.
Elephant
Get
trunk.
freaky with that shit.
Yeah, for real.
Elephant neck, you won't be able to do shit.
Yeah. Oh shit.
If you were to lose one of your 5 senses, what would it be?
Ooh, shit. There's sight, smell. Let's go touch.
Touch,
Fuck
yeah?
it, you know what I mean? You don't need to feel it. You know what I mean?
No?
No.
You
But
don't
that's
think
sex,
so?
bro.
Well, you know, you'd be even better, right?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
You'd be even
No
better,
one
right?
said that
You
yet.
know, you won't
Holy
feel it,
shit.
you know what I mean?
232 episodes, and
Yeah.
finally someone fucking got me.
Got it.
Shit.
Got
That's
it.
pretty good. Usually I say that, I'm like, they go, oh, touch it. I'm like, that's sex. They're like, oh, shit. And then usually people end up with smell because they're like, well, yeah, like, if I can lose my smell and still taste shit, then, like, I'm good with the rest of it. Right?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But that's a good point. So
Damn
where's
right,
this
damn right.
genie then?
Yeah.
Shit.
Shit. All right, so last question.
Sure.
You find a book, start to read it, find out it's about your life up into this point where you found the book. Do you continue reading it knowing it holds your future, or do you throw it away?
Fuck yeah, man. I want to know what's going on.
Yeah, you're
You
going to
know,
read it?
Talking about a book, I do have a book coming out.
Yeah.
I have a book
Perfect
coming out.
segue.
It's a kiss and tell storybook, you know what I mean, called Red Flags, about all my past relationships that I had. You know,
So is it truth or fiction?
truth.
Okay.
Truth. I just had to change the names for legal purposes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Legal purposes, you know. But
Oh, shit.
You know,
Wait, what's it called again?
Red Flags.
Tell them when it's coming out and where to find it.
It's coming out very soon.
Very
It's
soon?
going to be an audio book. I'm trying to get a hardcover too. You know
Nice.
what I mean? So,
Would it be on Audible then?
oh yeah.
Nice.
Shit, bro.
Hell yeah. All
Yeah,
about Audible.
For sure, bro. You
Okay,
know,
all right.
you know,
I'm down.
Something sexy. You know?
Okay,
Yeah.
I actually have one more question.
Sure.
Hit him.
It's a little sillier than the rest,
All right.
but it's actually more like a riddle.
All right.
Yeah, if you will.
Okay, so you're driving a bus,
Okay.
okay, and you stop at the first stop, and 2 people get on the bus,
Mhm.
and you keep driving, and you get to the next stop, and one person gets off the bus,
Okay.
but 3 people get on the bus. So you drive to the next bus stop. 2 people get off the bus. No one gets on the bus. You get to the 3rd bus stop. How old's the bus driver?
I'm confused too.
You're supposed to be
same age you started.
So you're driving a bus.
Oh, so I'm driving the fucking bus.
But see,
fucking right, man.
it always fucks
I'm
me
driving
up,
the bus,
man. And the reason why I love that is
Shit.
because it
You know
fucked
what I
me right up
No,
when I was
you
like,
got me there, man.
say
You
it
got me.
again, and I fucking
So
swear,
you're
man.
driving
They
the
told me
bus.
3 or 4 times, man, and I'm like, I don't get it. Like, I'm like, what does that have
Got
to
it.
do with anything, you know? And I'm like, oh, I'm driving the bus. Like, yeah, it's me. I was like, shit, man. Yeah, I don't know where that came from. That's
That was good.
I just fucking thought of that, but yeah.
Perfect.
Video.
Hell yeah.
Oh shit, man. But no, that was fucking good.
For sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
actually, you know what? Actually, I do actually have another question. I
Alright,
think this is what he thought you thought I was gonna ask.
Yeah, probably.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Here we go.
So you. Okay, so either you slap a baby
Okay.
and no one in the world thinks you slapped the baby,
Okay.
or you don't slap the baby and everyone in the world thinks you slapped the baby.
Fuck, I'm gonna slap the baby.
I didn't
I
even
gotta
think
slap
about
the
it.
baby because everyone's gonna know I did it anyways, right? Fuck it, you know what I mean? Like, I'm old school. You know?
So you heard it here first, folks. God damn, he's
Latin
hitting the
people
baby.
Flip flops. You know?
Yeah. The chocolate.
Chancleta all the way, bro.
That's
Yeah.
lit.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay,
I
man.
love
Quick before we go, can you give us some swear words in Spanish?
Puta madre, man. Estos cabrones me tienen hasta la verga. You know what I mean?
Oh shit, I love it, man. I actually dated a Hispanic chick in high school, and she taught me a bunch of stuff, and it turns out a bunch of it was just wrong. Like, it didn't make
Yeah.
any sense to people. So later I'm saying, either I remember wrong or she just gave me the wrong information, but I would tell people, and they're like, that's not what that means. And I'm like, okay, that's not even words. Like, shit. Anyways, man, we appreciate you coming all the
Thank
way
you,
from
brother.
fucking Toronto
Yeah,
for
man.
this.
Man.
For sure.
My pleasure.
Shit,
I
man.
follow you guys. I appreciate you guys, all your hard work that you guys are doing. I see you guys, you know, and you guys are one of Ottawa's jewels, you know, and I really, really appreciate you guys.
Thanks, man. We're
Yeah.
trying
You know what
anyways.
I mean? I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Fucking
man.
right, man.
Much
for the love.
appreciated.
Well, I'm stoked to hear the shit coming out, especially
Yeah,
this
yeah.
this
We'll have our
trap,
eye out.
or not trap, sorry, the drill song. I'm stoked
Yeah,
for that,
sure.
man.
The documentary.
And yeah, the dog. Oh yeah, that's.
Oh,
but
yeah.
when is that? Like, you don't know, or it's kind of just in the works happening?
It's in the works. It's probably into the new year.
Okay,
because,
sick.
you know, now we're in November almost. you
Because
know what
I
mean?
want to
So-
know
Yeah.
when that happens right away, bro.
For sure, I'm gonna try to make a big screening for it. I'm gonna invite all you
Oh,
guys,
shit.
you know, all the key people in Ottawa.
That'd
We're
be
gonna try
sweet.
to invite it, you
Yes.
know, I got inspired from the documentary they did on Plady Records in Toronto.
Oh
Okay.
yeah,
It's another
yep.
record store that I first started off in 15 years ago. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? When I was 15,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
and they played my stuff. They sold my records there. You know what I mean? They did a beautiful documentary, and that inspired me. I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, I got a story to tell.
That's
You know
it,
what I mean?
man. I
It's
can't,
coming.
Nice.
It's coming. Stay tuned.
can't wait to hear the story, man.
Hell yeah.
Again, appreciate you making the trip, man.
Thank you, fam.
Yeah,
Much
man.
love, brother.
Much love.
All right.
All right.
Okay, everybody, you already know what it is. It is fucking Friday where we're from, and I just want you guys to be careful. Have a good weekend. I know you're probably gonna get drunk tomorrow, and that's okay with me. But good, nice,
long
of,
as it's
nice
all
of me
right
to
with you.
assume that everybody that watches us is fucking getting drunk tomorrow. But
Bunch of alcoholics.
I'm sure you're great people. I'm probably gonna get drunk tomorrow too. I'm probably gonna drink green apple slushes with whiskey in them,
Woo.
just in case you're wondering.
Sounds delicious.
And I'm also probably gonna eat food. Actually, you know what? I'm also gonna go to Specs' daughter's birthday at 76 Murray Street at the Rainbow Bistro.
Oh yeah, that's tomorrow.
Stores open at 7.
Show.
I heard there might be prosciutto.
Yeah.
No, it's just what my mind tells me, man. The last time fucking Aspects played down there was prosciutto, and I missed it.
Missed the push.
I missed out on the charcuterie, and here we are. Any motherfucking way, you guys want to tell them anything?
Tomorrow. Catch it tomorrow.
That's it.
That's it.
Stay
All right.
safe out
Happy
there.
Friday the
Much love to
13th.
you
Watch
guys.
out for the full moon and all that stuff. Gang, gang. Peace out. I'm Stylez
Catch y'all on the
Prophet.
next one on B Show.
And I'm Jonesy.
Together with the Basement Weirdos, this is episode 232 of the 4G Audio Podcast. And it's a gang thing. You already know. Peace out, everybody. Yeah. Bow.
Peace.